In an interview before his death, John Lennon said he was really hurt by you, that you never mentioned in your autobiography any of the influence that he had on you.
He was annoyed because I didn't say that he had written one line of the song Taxman. But
did you tell him that?
Well, I didn't, because he was already dead after that. But the point to that was that I also didn't say how I wrote 2 lines to Come Together or 3 lines to Eleanor Rigby. You know, I wasn't getting into any of that. I think in the balance, I would have had more things to be niggled with him about than he would have with me.
But he said that you idolized him as a young boy, that you thought...
Well, that's what he thought.
And you didn't?
Well, I liked him very much. He was a groove. He was a good lad. But at the same time, he misread me. He didn't realize who I was. And this was one of the main faults of John and Paul. They were so busy being John and Paul, they failed to realize who else was around at the time.
Okay, well, I don't mind. I'll play, you know, whatever you want me to play. Or I won't play at all if you don't want me to play. No, whatever it is that will please you, I'll do it.
I don't think the Beatles fulfilled everything that George wanted to do by any means. And I think that perhaps he felt sometimes a bit of a junior member. And the other thing is he doesn't want to spend all his life as an ex-Beatle.
Michael Palin, once a member of Britain's Monty Python, has appeared in Harrison's films and remains a close friend.
I think George is now more confident than he's been for a while. He always had an interest in films, but just recently, I think with handmade films, he feels he's really done something he can be very proud of.
Harrison, as movie producer, has financed such films as Monty Python's Life of Brian,
Mona Lisa,
and the acclaimed Mona Lisa, which brought an Oscar nomination to actor Bob Hoskins.
Let's watch it.
Piss off!
Now Harrison is giving Hoskins a chance to direct his first film.
Have I given you a film, my chap? Have I given you a film?
You know, I don't work like business people. It's the same with music. If I have to try and make a record that will fit into the top 10, then I'm wasting my time. I have to be me. And it's like that kind of thing with Bob. It would be silly not to try to do something with him. You know, from where I sit, I mean, I just think he's so good. He's brilliant.
Give us a kiss.
When I see George, I want to sort of embrace him. He's very sharp, he's very gregarious. He actually loves company and thrives in company and is absolutely excellent company. So, I mean, this is the other side of him. But then he is always still a Beatle. And a Beatle has to live a different life from other people, you know, whatever happens.
What condition was he in when he was in your car?
He was shot.
There were about 6 officers carrying him. He had a little bit of blood coming out of his mouth.
He was dead at the moment that the first shots hit his body.
I'd like to know where you were when John Lennon died.
I was in bed.
I wondered what you felt, losing someone close to you for all those years.
It's like losing your parents or anybody you know and love. You know, all things must pass. But when it's taken in a violent way like that by somebody else, you know, it makes it very strange. He was very good. He was very good, and he was... in some ways, he was a slight genius. I mean, but apart from that, he was still just some guy like the rest of everybody else.
He was no angel.
He wasn't, but he was as well.
Was he?
Yeah.
For a while afterwards, George was extremely concerned about his own safety. Because, I mean, there are plenty of cranks out there who think, you know, a carbon copy shooting, maybe even get 2 or 3 of them now, you know. All those nasty things which you sort of laughed at before Lennon's death suddenly must have become rather more serious. And I think it was a bit more difficult to get in to see George for a while after that.
Everybody likes to say, okay, one of your best friends got assassinated, so surely you must be nervous about being assassinated too. You know, I like to take care, but I don't walk around fearing for my life, and I don't think, you know, anybody could be bothered killing me. You know, what's the point of killing me? There's nothing, you know, I don't feel that important. So it's strange, but it's just another one of the strange things that's happened in this life. You know, our manager died, our road manager was shot by the LA police. So many of our friends died through the years, and, you know, everybody went on drugs, everybody went to the Himalayas, everybody got divorced. You know, it's just a very concentrated kind of life. The whole thing.
We've just been talking about it now for a few years, you know. Like
How long has she been around? You know, like a year?
But that's not it anyway. It's the four of them just getting together.
But that's not far off it, you know. I mean,
What?
I mean, you know, like Yoko's very much to do with it, you know. Because she's very much to do with it from John's angle. That's the thing, you know. And the thing is, like, again, like always, only two answers. One is to fight it, and fight her, and try and get the Beatles back to four people without Yoko, and sort of ask Yoko to sit down at the board meetings. Or else the other meeting is the other thing is just to realise she's there, you know. And he's not gonna sort of split with her just for our sakes, you know. But then it's not even so much of an obstacle then, as long as we're not trying to surmount it. You know, while we're still trying to get over it, it's an obstacle. But it isn't really. It's not that bad, you know. But they want to stay together, those two, you know. So it's all right. Let the young lovers stay together, you know. But it shouldn't be. Can't operate under these conditions, boy. You know, we're coming out. It's like that. We're striking. That's what it is. It's like a strike because work conditions aren't right, you know. But it's not that bad. You know.
But he knows that, doesn't he?
John knows that,
Yeah.
sure.
But does he talk about it at all?
No, but see, we've done a lot of Beatles now. We've had a lot of Beatles, you know, and we've got a lot out of Beatles. So that I think John's thing now, but obviously it came to a push between Yoko and the Beatles. It's Yoko, you know.
Who'd stay?
Oh, sure.
But funny enough, the other day when we were talking, he said that he really did not want not to be a Beatle. He said he really looked forward not to, in other words, he didn't want that screwed up.
Yeah, but it's a difficult one, that, you know. It really is all right. It's the thought of her being there and sort of, and that then you don't talk to John. So then he doesn't talk to you, you know. And it's like, you can screw it up just as much because she's there. As John relying on her because she's there.
Jason is only interested,
you know, but I mean, like, have you noticed, if you're on a team with John about something, he really isn't, you know, he won't let Yoko talk about it, because he knows that you're on the beam and he knows about it, and you can talk straight to him. But it's like, we did I Will, we were trying to get the last verse to I Will, and eventually I just ended up doing it, because we couldn't actually do it. But, I mean, Yoko really tried to stay out of it, just sort of got on with something, but she just really, you know, they're onto that thing. They just want to be near each other, you know. So I just think it's just silly of me or anyone to try and say to them, no, you can't. You know. It's like, because okay, you know, they're going overboard about it. But John always does, you know, and Yoko probably always does. So that's their scene. You can't go saying, you know, don't go overboard about this thing. You know, be sensible about it and don't bring it to meetings. You know, it's his decision. That it's none of our business to interfere in that. Even when it comes into our business, we still can't really say much, except, look, I don't like it, John. You know, then he can say, well, screw you, or I like it, or well, I won't do it, or blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's the only way, you know, to tell John about it.
Have you done that already?
Well, I told him I didn't like writing songs.
Were you writing together much more before she came around?
Oh, yeah,
or
sure.
you cooled it a bit then, before her?
Before you
cooled it, sure. Yeah. We'd cooled it because not playing together. Ever since we didn't play together.
On stage, you mean?
Yes, we went Because I mean, we lived together when we played together. We were in the same hotel, up at the same time every morning, doing this all day. And this, I mean, this, you know, it doesn't matter what you do like this, as long as you're this close all day, something grows, you know, something is. And then when you're not this close all day, just physically, something goes.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think, you see, yeah, okay, so we go on talking like this forever, but I think for them to be able to compromise, I have to be able to compromise first. Then they'll be able to. Or else they have to be able to compromise first and that. But it's silly, neither of us compromising.
Yeah, but
it is at least one stage better if I can start to compromise, then maybe they can feel that they'll bend a little for me then.
Yeah, but if her being around so much has caused a lot of the trouble, that you're compromising already. And you've made a lot of your compromise. You know what I mean?
What, by
the
right, yeah.
omnipresence.
I think it's because we've thought that the only alternative would be for John just to say, okay, well, see you then. You know, and we've not wanted that to happen. But it's going to be such an incredible sort of comical thing, like in 50 years' time, you know. They broke up because Yoko sat on an amp. You know, or just something like this. What? Well, see, John kept bringing this girl along. What? It's not as though there's any sort of splitting rows.
But it is, like Linda was saying, it really is
wrong, really.
terribly sort of dispiriting if it doesn't get together. It really is.
Just music.
Yeah, I mean, just for the...
That's the thing, you know.
Turn on that radio.
I'm uncontrollable. The only one that can control me is me, and that's just barely possible. But that's what life is about, and that's the lesson I'm learning. Because nobody ever said anything about what Paul having a spell over me when I was with him for a long time, or me having a spell over Paul. They didn't think that was abnormal, 2 guys together, or 4 guys together. In those days, why didn't anybody ever say, how come those guys don't split up? I mean, what's going on backstage? I mean, what is that, you know, Paul and John business? Why, you know, how can they be together so long? We spent more time together than John and Yoko in the early days, the 4 of us sleeping in the same room, practically in the same bed, in the same truck, living together night and day, doing everything together. Nobody said a damn thing about being under the spell. Maybe they said we were under the spell of Brian Epstein or George Martin. There's always somebody has to be doing something to you. We're the ones that cast the spell. If somebody's going to impress me, whether it be a Maharishi or a Janov or a Yoko, then there comes a point where the emperor has no clothes, because I do stupid things, I've done stupid things, I'm naive, but I'm also not stupid. So there comes a point where I will see, you know, nobody can pull the wool that long. So for all you folks out there who think that I'm having the wool pulled over my eyes, well, that's an insult to me. Not that you think less of Yoko, because that's your problem, what you think of Yoko. What I think of her is what counts. If you think you know me or you have some part of me because of the music, and then you think that I'm being controlled like a dog on a leash because I do things with her, then screw you, brother or sister. You don't know what's happening. I'm not here for you, I'm here for me and her, and now the baby. I don't think anybody should be that interested in every detail of my life, from Beatles to now.
Did you cut it short because of the people were bugging you here, or did you just plan to stay as long as you did? Why did you stay around here? Why didn't you leave us alone? Is that the reason you're leaving now? Well, you know, how would you like to have a microphone stuck in your hand when you're on holiday? Oh. You see, it's like that, isn't it? We're off Tuesday now, and we want it that way. You're going to stay in Tahiti for a couple of weeks? No. George, will Ringo and Paul join you on TV? No. Goodbye. Thanks, George.
Can I start? You had a big celebration this year. There was a big birthday this year.
What was that? What celebration?
Wasn't it? Was your birthday in February?
Oh, yes, yes.
Can we say which one it was?
Well, you know, I became 80, and I'm very... 80?
Yeah. There's no way anyone would think you were 80. Absolutely not. You're incredible for 80.
Well, I'm surprised too, you know. I mean...
What do you do to keep in good shape? Because you look incredible. You have fitness?
Well, I don't really... See, that's another thing. Most people think, oh, well, I haven't done any exercise, so I have to give up. Don't give up. I mean, any time when you start doing it, it works, you know. I mean, your body is really a very sensitive and powerful thing. And I just, you know, most people think that, oh, she must be doing exercise every day or something. No, I just forget and do some work or something, and say, oh, I better do some exercise, and just...
And what kind of exercise do you do?
Well, I like to walk.
So just
Walking is supposed to be very good.
A brisk walk?
Mm-hmm.
No jogging?
No, no jogging.
No.
Well, I mean, I could jog maybe too, but I don't.
No kickboxing?
Fun.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And are you someone who has a very strict routine about the number of hours you sleep, the amount of water you drink?
No. Right now, I just finished making an album, which is really great.
This is incredible. How many 80-year-olds are sitting at home saying, you know, I've got to finish that new album? Because since your 80th birthday, you've had another #1 dance single.
Yes.
It's incredible. So you've had, how many #1 dance singles have you had in the States?
10. I had 10 consecutively.
10 consecutively. And this is since your 80th birthday. You had another #1. Wow. But you still have the energy to go on stage. You still perform.
Well, see, that's another thing that I realized. That means, just like everybody else, you know, I thought, 80, well, that means that maybe you'll just be asleep or, you know, always in bed or something. No, you get more energy than what you had before. When I hear music, my body starts to...
Yeah.
You know.
Let me ask you about something, and I've never asked you this, I don't think, is for all that period when people were blaming you for the breakup of the Beatles.
Well, you know, I've been blamed, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 years now.
You were aware of that going on? You were aware that's what people were saying?
I was fully aware of it, because it was like they was jabbing me all the time. Like acupuncture, you know. It is probably actually healthy that people jab me, and I was turning that negative energy into positive energy. And that's why I think that one of the reasons that I'm healthy now is because we're healthy. Well, sort of healthy is because I went through all that. And thank you very much.
So the negativity, you could turn that into a positive in some way. But it was very sweet recently, I thought, that Paul McCartney came out and cleared the air a little bit and said, look, you know, for those people who
That was very sweet of him to do that. I'm sure that, you know, he got tons of letters saying, how dare you say that? I mean, you know, because they like the idea of us being in a boxing ring, you know, sort of fighting.
Also, it's good to have, people like having someone to demonise. People like having someone to blame, you know, and you were the easy target, I guess.
Well, you know, we know each other for such a long time, and he's a very sensitive and intelligent guy, so, of course, you know, she understands what was going on, that it wasn't going on.
Yeah. What's your favourite song that you've written?
Well, I like all my songs.
Yeah, but your mum and dad, they didn't approve, when you married John, they didn't approve of that, did they?
I felt that they wanted me to become a very good classical musician. And instead of that, I married into a rock family, you know, rock and roll.
Yeah, yeah. And so it was the whole rock and roll, the kind of anti-establishment.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit prejudice towards rock and roll, I suppose.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. This is, and I hope this isn't too personal, but you still live in the Dakota building in New York?
Yes, I am.
And that's the building, of course, where John was murdered outside. You were with him when he was shot.
Yes, but, you know, it was our home. That was the only home we had. And well, that's the only home I had with John. I'm not going to leave it.
Too much of a Big Lad, how is he?
He was all right, but he was just going off on a tour.
Big Lad's not doing so well these days, is he, Big Lad?
Well, he's #5 in Sweden.
Oh, in Sweden, that's it.